Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today we are going to discuss about Pakistan's relations with China, how successful or unsuccessful these have been over the years in the last decades, and we are also going to talk about Cpec. Now let's see some background of these two countries. In the beginning, when Pakistan came into being, China was in extremely uncertain condition because China had not got its independence, and at that time, Pakistan had not taken much interest in developing good relations with it. Already, Pakistan was in tension due to India and Afghanistan, because Afghanistan was asking for Pakhtunistan. India was trying to take over Kashmir, which it took over, and Pakistan could not afford another tension with a third neighbor. So Pakistan did not pay much attention towards China at that time. Now let's see some successful relations between Pakistan and China. Turning between these two countries' relations, if we see in 1962 these relations started. Pakistan came into being in 1947, and we can see in 1962 these relations started in a better manner when India and China had a war, Indo-Chinese war, and in this war, India wanted to take over one area of China which is known as Tibet. Tibet is the interest of India because from Tibet, the origin of Indus River is there, and Indus River is the lifeline for the water supply of Pakistan. China fought this war and defeated India, took over Tibet, but Pakistan had the interest that if China was going to take over Tibet and was going to take care of the origin of Indus River, Pakistan was safe in this manner. Pakistan's water channels were stopped by India, and Indus was the only hope from where water was coming. So when China won this war, Pakistan was happy about this. Another incident happened that when China went to United Nations for membership, excuse me, India was constantly creating hurdles while Pakistan supported China to obtain its membership in United Nations. Then there were some border agreements between Pakistan and China provided some land to Pakistan for a clear peak of K2, and that is almost 600 and almost 650 square kilometers land in the extreme northern mountainous areas of Pakistan. China slowly became Pakistan's biggest purchaser of cotton, as Pakistan is the grower of cotton, and Pakistan's economy mainly bases upon cotton exports. So China started buying Pakistani cotton, and it was almost $60, $60 million a year. And Pakistan was also given $60 million interest-free loan also in 1964 by China. So as there was no interest, so it was easier to pay back and it was not a burden. By January 1964, China became one of those countries in the world who very clearly stood along with Pakistan related to the issue of Kashmir, because mostly it happened that communist state Russia was favoring India. Some states did not speak much about Kashmir, but China clearly stood along with the point where Pakistan was talking about Kashmir and the rights of Kashmiris. In when there was 1965 Indo-Pak war, China fully supported Pakistan, and China provided military aid, and Pakistan had not much planes, and India was constantly attacking on Lahore, and Pakistan was short of weapons. So at that time, China fully supported Pakistan. So this strengthened the friendship of Pakistan and China. Then Ayub Khan was given very warm welcome when after 1965 war he went to China, and this friendship, basically the real friendship started from that time. Then afterward, when Zulfikar Bhutto visited China in 1970, to China as a gift turned many of those loans, like $60 million loan was given. So many of those loans were turned into grants, and Pakistan had not to pay back those loans. So it basically Pakistan was off from many most lot of burden of loan which was there on that. Then China provided jet aircrafts and tanks to Pakistan, and these were Pakistani factories which started looking into these jet aircrafts and tanks, and then later on started preparing their own tanks and aircrafts. China also helped Pakistan in setting up its steel mill at Texla, and Texla steel mill is basically working for the weaponry of Pakistan and heavy machinery also. Then Gwader port, extreme south of Pakistan. I'm mostly talking about this part, which is the northern part of Pakistan, where this friendship and this trade agreement and Texla is almost here. So this friendship was up to here, but with the passage of time, China developed its interest in establishing a road through all western Pakistan up to Gwader. Gwader is connected to the seaport, and there is a chance this is the seaport of Gwader, and we can see the development which is there. And it's a seaport which is deep into the deep sea water, and naturally this land is moved outwards in the deep sea water. So it is an excellent port for heavy ships and for trade purposes. In 1986, Pakistan China signed a treaty related to nuclear technology also, and General Ziaul Haq visited China, where he was given protocol, and Pakistan's nuclear program further was enhanced. Then, when it was Nawaz Sharif's time, Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif visited Pakistan in October 1992. He also signed three agreements, and those agreements were also related to the industrial machinery coming to Pakistan. Later on, Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto visited China in 1993, and China also supported her for providing agro-based machinery, because Benazir Bhutto wanted to mechanize the agricultural system of Pakistan. So China supported her in this matter. Then friendship between China and Pakistan solidified when Karakoram Highway. This is the Karakoram Highway, and the very difficult mountains through which it is constructed. It is almost 1,700 kilometers long highway, and almost 1,700 workers lost their lives while constructing this road, and it was a very difficult task to do. But Pakistan and China worked together and constructed this highway, which is a source of trade, easy trade through road between two of these countries. Excuse me. Karakoram Highway and Cpec is another program which is for not only for the present but the future also. This is known as Western Road also, because we can see it is passing through all Western Pakistan, and it is passing through KPK, Balochistan, and Western areas, northwestern areas of Pakistan. So it's in this manner also. If we see Karakoram Highway here, that is in red, it is the previous time. Then there were some other roads also, and another plan which we can see, that is all through these coastal areas of Pakistan. This is also the red road. So once this is constructed, this red road, Cpec road is constructed, then afterwards there will be a road in which is going to connect rest of the coastal areas also, which is almost Pakistan's coastal Makran coastline, which is almost 760 kilometers long. So there it may be an extension of these points of trade and port facilities. Then successful relations in CPEC is becoming the future and economic corridor for Pakistan and China. It is not only a corridor, but it is going to go ahead to other countries of the world also. So at first step, it is known as a corridor, which is where China is entering in Pakistan, passing through this, and then it is known as a belt also. And after this belt, there is another complete system through which all these, which I'm going to explain in the next slide. So this CPEC is in China. In China, it is known as Circular Electronic Positron Collider. And this we are going to see what it is in the next map. But here in Pakistan, where this belt is there, it is known as CPEC, Pakistan-China, Pakistan Economic Corridor. And Pakistan-China Economic Corridor is basically closely related to the belt, and it is a road initiative, and it requires definitely closer cooperation of both of these countries. But basically, this belt and road will run through continents of Asia, Europe, and Africa, connecting the vibrant East in Asia economic circle and one of the developed European economic circles at the other point. Now, let's see in the next page. This is the map about which we are talking. This is the belt where Pakistan is getting this road from China till Gwader, and then this the whole of this road with fiber optic systems and with sea roads and belts, this is all going to the other parts, going to connect to the other parts of the world also, and this is going to expand the trade of China, and definitely Pakistan is also going to be the beneficiary of that. So in this manner, both of these countries have their economic benefits altogether. There were some previous times also before 1962, and when there were some cold relations between two of these countries. So let's have a look on these also. These were not much, but looking into both sides of the history, now let's see these also. In the beginning, Pakistan, as China was in trouble, so Pakistan, and China was a communist country, so Pakistan didn't see much in about, was not much interested about becoming a friend of a communist country, because Pakistan was going towards democratic countries, developing its ties with America. So it was in the American and democratic bloc. So being a communist country, Pakistan didn't take much interest to become a friend of China. Then in 1950s, when Pakistan was working on pro-American lines, definitely there were some CENTO or different kind of agreements also, according to which Pakistan could not develop much warm relations with a communist country. Then there was a time when Pakistan was voted against China's membership in United Nations in 1959, but later on Pakistan took it back. China also stayed silent about Kashmir issue. There was a time when Ayub Khan thought that he must develop friendly relations with all the countries of the world to develop trade and industrial development. And for this purpose, he decided to sign a joint defense agreement with India. And that was the time. In the beginning, there were discussions, but later on, India rejected it. And but at that time, there was China was worried that India being with Pakistan could be a trouble for China. So that is why it was a time of some cold relations, but it could not continue for a longer time, because these proposals were not successful, and those were not matured. So during 1971 war, China withdrew its support from Pakistan because USSR, another communist country, was supporting India. So in this manner, these were some times when there were some unsuccessful relations. Then in 1990s, China started thinking about the seashores of India, and Chinese started developing good relations with India, but those could not be matured because India was demanding too much too much heavy toll from China, and it was unaffordable. China hinted Pakistan that Pakistan must compromise on Kashmir issue on the initiative of India to China. But when Pakistan did not accept it and India saw that China couldn't do anything about Kashmir with Pakistan, so India stepped back. Then when there were Muslims who were living along with the borders of Pakistan in Chinese area, those Muslims were also constantly in trouble because China is a communist country and they did not let Islam develop much in their area. So that was also a cause of concern between two countries. If we evaluate overall these relations, and if we look at the future of these relations, overall these relations have been since 1962 on excellent conditions, and China had always been a very trusted friend of Pakistan, and now with Cpec and upcoming road and belt developments, there are the chances, there is the future which is bright for both of these countries if they stay together. And in this manner, let's see what happens in part two. In part two, we are going to discuss more about Cpec, its benefits, its drawbacks, and what can we see as a Cpec as a bright future of China, or even brighter future for Pakistan. Who is going to get more benefit from that, and how? So this is the end of the discussion. I hope you enjoyed, and like and subscribe. Watch the video fully. I hope you will understand the topic and you will enjoy that. Part two, or related to Pakistan, China, and CPEC, that will focus on CPEC in detail and its pros and cons. So that will be inshallah discussed in the next part. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.